Well, tracking crime during the pandemic over the last year, well, we've seen some disturbing trends involving minors. Just this week, a 13-year-old arrested in a carjacking case.
Also, juvenile murder cases are an increasing issue for police as well. And investigative reporter Lourdes Duarte looks at the role minors are playing in some of these most shocking crimes.
Well, in Chicago in 2020, the number of minors arrested for first-degree murder was up significantly. In two of the cases, the alleged shooters were as young as 13. The families of some of the victims say even when an arrest is made, it's difficult to feel true justice in these cases because, after all, a minor may not fully understand how their actions can impact more than just that one life they took. You're about to meet a mother who lost her son to gun violence and is being told the shooter was just 14.
Scene 9, Bravo 1, take 5.
27-year-old Cameron Rutter had a passion for every role in life.
And action.
No matter what was going on, he wanted to make his life wonderful.
His mother, Consuelo, will tell you that was part of his charm on screen and in life. Here he is 6 months ago with a small role in a short film.
Scene 9, Alpha, take 6.
Little did anyone know he would never get to see the final product. On December 12th, his life ended in an instant. 2 weeks before Christmas, there was a party on the second floor of this apartment building at 53rd and Prairie.
Had I known my son was going to this party, I would have discouraged him from going. I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Pandemic parties have been an issue for police, with videos of packed venues surfacing online. That night may not have been much different. It's not clear how many people were there or what happened inside, but Cameron Rutter, a father of 2, never made it out of that party alive.
If someone had just cared enough, had some human decency just to call 911, an ambulance, instead of just leaving him there by himself. And my son was definitely in need, and no one came to his aid. No one cared enough to even pick up a phone. Everyone just scattered and ran.
Consuelo found her son's body there the next day. There is so much she can't make sense of, including what she's hearing about the person who pulled the trigger. Police are telling you that there's this possibility that it could have been a 14-year-old.
My first question is, why would a 14-year-old feel the need to have a gun?
It's a question police departments across the country are dealing with as violent crimes involving minors keep rising. WGN Investigates obtained Chicago police data on the last 2 years of juvenile arrests. It showed in 2020, 36 minors under 18 years old have been arrested for first-degree murder. That's up 35% from the year before. Most using guns to carry out crimes, barely old enough to drive, but bold enough to pull the trigger.
That's been very heartbreaking for myself and for my family, that he was taken by the hands of a juvenile.
And if you scour the data, minors were involved in some of the city's most talked about crimes: stolen vehicles, robberies, and carjackings, like the one that killed a retired firefighter outside a Southwest Side popcorn shop last December. A 15-year-old boy was among the 4 suspects arrested and charged.
I think we pretty much noticed the uptick starting in April.
That far back? Huh?
That far back, yeah. They were starting to go up incrementally. But now it's just through the roof.
Large numbers, but in many cases, light punishments. Laws put on the books just a few years ago keep some crimes, like carjackings committed by minors, from going to adult court.
They're still subject to the juvenile laws that are currently on the books now.
Are those laws tough enough for juveniles?
Well, in my opinion, they can be strengthened.
We sat down with the deputy chief of the detective division for CPD. They are savvy enough to know what a punishment would be for something like a carjacking or an aggravated assault.
Correct.
And they think it's okay to take the risk.
Correct. I believe so.
Which brings us to the question so many are debating right now.
that a light punishment for a minor says to them that there are no consequences, and they then become repeat offenders.
Punishment and incarceration does not work.
Elizabeth Clark with the Juvenile Justice Initiative has been tackling the issue for years. She says a criminal justice reform bill expected to be signed by the governor soon is a good start.
Illinois hasn't had a full parole system, and young people haven't had opportunities for release.
She has a list of things that could make a difference, though.
The lightest touch, presumption against detention, deflection, emphasized throughout, crisis intervention, first responders, citations, not arrests for low-level misdemeanor offenses.
And over the last month, that's part of what CPD has been attempting, visiting the homes of minors in trouble with police and offering resources.
We try to bring a holistic approach to that household in order to help that juvenile from reoffending.
And that's happening right now, despite the pandemic.
Yes, it's happening right now. Right now, it's on the smaller scale. Like I said, we have to expand that.
But could they do that fast enough to make an immediate difference?
As crime is rising, it's being done more and more by our young youth.
For Consuelo Rudder, any plan or program comes too late to save her son. She's hopeful, though, it'll make a difference in someone else's life.
I'm also praying that this 14-year-old tells the police who gave him the gun.
And there have been no charges in the Cameron Rudder case. We did reach out to the state's attorney's office about when and how cases are moved from juvenile to adult court. They tell us cases aren't necessarily transferred at the request of the state's attorney. Here's a quote. The court weighs all factors and makes the final determination whether a juvenile case will be transferred to adult court. For example, Fox's office says that since 2017, her office has made 13 petitions to move a juvenile to adult court. Only 8 were granted. I'm Lourdes Duarte, WGN Investigates.